Join Mike and Jeanette later in the episode when they come across the King of the Jungle.
Okay, so where to after Johannesburg?
Well, it was on to Botswana.
Jeanette takes the driver's seat while Mike records the day's events in his journal. Roger Pierce, team leader, has brought them roughly 400 kilometres so far, and now it's time for them to get into gear as they're about to experience the first of many African border posts. Let's face it, this is the part most of us dread, but because of experience and good planning, things go smoothly at the South African side of the border for the team, and it's just a matter of minutes before they've crossed over into Martinsdrift, Botswana. And then a matter of seconds before tempers begin to flare at the gridlock created by long-haul trucks. Even Jeanette tries her hand at directing traffic.
And that, I think, was our longest day, one of our longest days, because we got there just as it was getting dark.
Did you go through Botswana fairly quickly?
Yes.
We only stayed that one
night.
Yeah.
And it was literally have a gin and tonic, have dinner, go to sleep.
Was malaria ever a concern?
We all took tablets.
Okay.
Yes, we all were prepared for that.
And the tablets are now so sophisticated nowadays that we only had to take one tablet the same night every week, once a week.
Our whole crew was
on the same thing. So we all.
I thought perhaps the GNTs were just a backup plan.
Oh yes, definitely. You've got to have quinine, with a little bit of gin in it.
Cheers.
What kind of speed were you doing the whole way? Were you keeping to the speed limits?
We were moving then.
Were you?
On the good roads. We were getting up to 150 kilometres an hour.
And
watching
we've got
out for the speed cops.
On camera at 160.
Yeah.
But then that's the fault of the lead vehicle, you see. We had to keep up with him.
But after Martinsdrift, and especially after Salibi Piqui, that's where we was most surprised at the potholes.
Suddenly, Mike and Jeanette find themselves having to solve the case of the vanishing hubcap. Where could it be? Must be here somewhere. Nope. Let me try the long grass. How strange. Found one. Pity it's not ours.
But that was where we lost our first hubcap.
And we found a Mercedes one.
We found the wrong type.
What else happened in Botswana? Any wildlife?
Yes.
Yes.
Saw the most beautiful male elephant all alone, and we stopped. The lead vehicle gave us a warning that we were coming, and he was just on the side of the road. And Koos got out and actually filmed him, and he just picked up his trumpet like this and went, wow, and then turned his back and walked away. It was
he walked just behind the car, and we've got that on video.
Really, it's very good.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll see it.
All it takes is one heart-stopping moment like this to make the whole adventure worthwhile.
Jeanette, I'd like to ask you, how did you meet Mike?
We lived in the same block of flats in Summerstrand and Port Elizabeth. And he'd known me for about, we'd seen each other in the elevator, going up and down. And he was a really St. Andrews snob, Oh, God. Anyhow, the St. Andrews boy, I was standing on the balcony one day and looking down. He was dragging a lalo behind him. And I just looked at this. I said, that is my man. And he didn't stand a chance after that.
Mike, talk us through the next leg of the journey, Botswana to
Zambia.
We went on the Kazungulu ferry to Zambia. We came across, long before we got to the ferry, lorries parked on the side of the road. And we drove right to the front, and we were virtually the only two cars.
Kazungula is a tiny border town. It is situated south of Zambia.
But it's a big river. And Chobe and Zambezi joining just here.
Kazungula lies to the north of the Zambezi River, about 70 kilometres west of Livingstone. The Kazungula ferry is one of the largest ferries in the region, with a capacity of 70 tonnes. It is here where 4 countries meet: Zambia, Namibia, Botswana and Zimbabwe.
Now the ferry could take 2 cars and 1 lorry. So we drove straight onto the ferry, the ramp, and on we were, and then the truck came behind us, and that was the load. And the truck driver told us that he'd been waiting there for 2.5 weeks.
That's right, these poor truck drivers had been waiting 2.5 weeks, as Mike said, to get across, while it takes the team just a few minutes to get both vehicles loaded onto the ferry. The crossing to Kasane is quick, as the river is only 400 metres wide, and then it's back on dry ground for the team. Join us after the break to find out more about the exciting Zambian leg of the journey, and can Mike negotiate his way around a rather large hole in the road?
any hiccups thus far with the car by the time you got to Livingstone?
No.
It's truly an amazing motor car.
Smooth sailing?
Smooth sailing until then.
Just a couple of hubcaps.
Yeah, that's all.
When you get to about 73 or 75, you can't see very well.
There's a large hole in the road, about a K ahead of you.
A big hole in the road.
That's the one.
Another bump.
Oh, let's start again. Don't look too much away.
Smooth sailing?
Smooth sailing until then.
I think that poor Rolls Royce hit every pothole between Cape Town and Cairo because nobody saw them coming, you see.
That's easy to say when you're driving a 4x4, though. Mike and Jeanette show off their best moves in an effort to keep up. But in the end, it turns out to be a lot easier to drive off the road entirely.
And then on to Livingstone, presumably?
Yes, that was great. And we were the guests of Sun International. And we actually stayed at the Zambezi Sun because the Royal Livingstone was full. But we went over there to have drinks and to be introduced to the staff. And Michael and I had 2 suites together. He had his bathroom and I had my bathroom. It was absolutely lovely.
That was one of
They really spoilt us.
And we really enjoyed it, and we looked at the Vic Falls again, and it was lovely.
There is nothing like a bit of well-deserved luxury when you've been stuck behind the wheel for hours navigating the treacherous roads of Africa.
Gooseberry. Have a gooseberry, it'll wake you up.
The Zambezi Sun has all the sophistication and charm that you'd want in a hotel. But no trip to Zambia would be complete without a glimpse of one of the 7 natural wonders of the world, the mighty Victoria Falls.
And it is idyllic. It really is absolutely beautiful.
In Zambia, the falls are known as Musiwatunya, or the smoke that thunders, and Mike and Jeanette make an exciting detour over the bridge to soak it all in. White fluffy clouds and gorgeous blue African skies accompany them on their journey, as well as the smell of the brown earth and glorious sunshine. This is Africa in all her glory.
You're on the road again, you're leaving Livingstone, you're leaving Zambia, and you're heading into...
Tanzania. Some people say Tanzania, some people say Tanzania.
The Rolls Royce is very heavy on fuel consumption. It uses 20 litres per 100 kilometres in normal conditions. In actual fact, if you've got nice tarred roads, you can get down to 17, 18 litres per 100 kilometres. But in the real rough conditions, it goes up to 25 litres. So 1 litre only gets you 4 kilometres in the worst conditions.
Cairo, that's Cape in South Africa. Cairo.
I have a special offer on Miller's Draft. Any takers?
Yes!
And going around the next corner into the unknown is a wonderful thing for anybody. That's why I love it so much, you know, and particularly Africa.
It's time to make a quick stop for some good old-fashioned putt course.